Today's horror story is produced by. Go check out Burnt Mill Road. I know I should have been thinking about my twin brother, cold and wet, being eaten from the inside out by bugs, wormy and flitting, slimy, voracious creatures with the sole instinct to pick everything clean off the bone. I know I should feel remorse over not focusing on the memories of his young life lived well, or the grief over him being hit by an 18-wheeler when he ran out on the highway, his long intestine unraveling, looking every bit like the average roadkill on a Sunday. And I should be perseverating on the immorality of humanity, the fact that cars continued to come, tears streaming down my mother's face with each one that whizzed by, and the car that didn't stop, the only evidence of its wrongdoing, a broken front mirror. The one thing that occupies every crevice of my crowded mind is the baseball. The feel of it gracing my gloved palm at 4:42 p.m., October 9th, Astros versus Red Sox, when fate decided this pristine ball was going to be mine. The universe trusted I would take care of it, and take care of it I did. Every morning I would painstakingly wake up a full 60 minutes before school started to inspect it, dust it, apply a few drops of well water, buff it, tell it how it gave me purpose and a reason to get up in the morning. My mother believed it to be a good idea to stick the ball in my brother's grave. He used to love throwing it around with you, she said. It's a good way for you to be with your brother. In reality, he always wanted that ball. He didn't care about the thing itself, no. He couldn't stand to see me win. His 16 attempts to steal the ball were all because he didn't catch it. I mean, the reason he was squashed like cream corn by that gigantic big rig is because I started cross country. He never wanted me to be faster than him. I've dealt with this my whole life. My mom did the dirty deed when I was at school. She knew how badly my brother wanted it, and whatever brother wants, brother gets. Tonight, I will have no trouble ripping it from his ice-cold appendages. You see, I love that ball. For everything it is, not just as a symbol of beating my brother. It is my most prized possession. And when drastic stakes hang in the balance, all options must be considered. I've considered mine. I look at the clock perched above the empty chalice of my once beloved property. It is mine, and I will take it. I've already hidden the shovel beneath my bed. I reach under and inspect it now. Traces of blotted dirt remain from when I broke ground for Chloe, our Australian shepherd. This job will be no different. Light emanates from the moon, illuminating my path. My room is very orderly in the first place, ideal for situations such as these. No stumbling, rumbling bumps in the night. Absolutely no reason to arouse suspicion. I open my window and duck clean through the frame. I've had to get out many nights before, you see. I close my window to the last inch and jump the 4 feet to wet grass. Gravesite's a mile away. I realize immediately I should have worn an extra layer under my windbreaker, but too late for that. I'm already 2 minutes later than originally scheduled, due in large part to time reminiscing about the ball in its most pristine form. My greatest fear, I think, is that the ball has become grubby. Not in an easy remedy sort of way with general upkeep, a few drops of water, but in the more sinister way, in an irreversible way, so that this ball, the most precious thing in my life, with the chances of it being mine ending up somewhere in the region of 0.0000003%, would basically be rendered futile, ugly even. But I shake my head to get these dreadful, fanatical suspicions out of my mind and continue the trek. It's 4 a.m. Last drunken bums have left the vicinity, and eccentric jogger moms are still asleep. I am the lone human with what some may say most malicious intentions. But there is nothing but love in my heart for my brother. Sure, he always had to be better than me. Sure, my parents loved him more. Maybe I envied him. Maybe. Deep down, I wanted to be like him. Isn't that the stuff of brotherhood? But he has no appreciation for the ball itself, and that is what must be set right. The chill picks up on this long dirt road, a straight line to my final destination. I realize the country takes on an entirely different feel at 4, different from 2:30 when I typically experience it. Quite a peaceful feeling indeed. I take solace in the fact that I am rescuing a dear friend. No heart, blood pumping through its veins, taking in oxygen, and yet the vibrational frequency still remains of love. How different is that from the love of my rotting corpse of a brother? Wind whistles through these craggly trees, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, encouraging me to go on into the great unknown. And though I've tracked these dirt plains, forging this similar journey countless times over, light cascading from the moon makes this time feel different, foreign, illusory. I can see it now. Rubber center wrapped in yarn and covered with 2 strips of stunning white cowhide. Then suddenly, I'm there. The blooming weeds surrounding the turf echo long-forgotten cries of the living. If only they knew the dead don't hear the cries. I walk over the hill to the small metal gate and am shocked to see a tall man cloaked, staring down at my brother's freshly dug grave. His back faces me and his very presence sends a chill through my spine. I shudder, then duck, trying to become as small as possible. The stranger staring over a freshly dug grave at 4:23 in the a.m. is most likely not the church-going type. But what if he's here for my ball? Not on my watch, damn it. I remain crouched and slowly peek my head out from behind the gate, so that only the crown of my head is showing. I see this long, slender man with the black gloves reach into his cloak and pull out a sharp metal shovel, as long and devious as he is. He starts slicing through the loose soil, chucking the excess dirt over his shoulder haphazardly. My fists clench. Who does this man think he is, digging up my brother? How could he dare? I look on, mouth agape as he continues his work. Hey! I shout, my voice echoing across the entire gravesite, reverberating off each headstone. I feel my face flush immediately. All the blood leaves my body and my heart is in my throat, not daring to throb. Every muscle in my skeleton seizing up tight. The hooded figure turns, staring at me. He drops his shovel, which clambers to the ground. I am terrified. He swiftly reaches his glove into his cloak and removes an object that looks strikingly familiar. My baseball. In pristine condition, practically glowing from the light cascading from the moon. It's never looked so perfect. Not a smudge, dot, speck, nothing to indicate in any way it's been soiled. How did you? I start. The man places his right index finger to his lips. Then he beckons me, motions with his hand to walk towards him. I take a step forward. The man extends his hand with the baseball over the grave of my brother. No! I yelp. I take another step. The gloved hand turns over. All it needs to do is release its grip, and the ball will be muddied. Please don't! I screech. Then, with a flourish, the man opens his cloak and pulls out a boy. A dead boy. It's my brother. The man holds my brother effortlessly over the grave with one hand and the ball with the other. The man stares at me. Tears are streaming down my face. I'm a complete, total, utter fool. My brother, I blubber. I suck in all the mucus and liquid seeping out of me. I stand my ground. I want my brother, I scream. The man drops the baseball on the ground and removes his gloves. I gasp at his bony knuckles, completely stripped of flesh. He removes his hood and it's just a skeleton. It stares at me through its gaping eye sockets and places its long, bony index fingers on the temples of my brother's corpse. My brother takes a gulp of air and the tall skeleton disintegrates, leaving behind the black cloak and gloves in its wake. I stand there, quaking in my boots. My brother stands up, brushing the dust off of him. He looks exactly as he did before he died. His sharp blue eyes meet mine. I hesitantly take a step forward and muster up the courage. Jack? I ask meekly. My brother grins something wicked, and suddenly I feel a figure appear behind me. The skeleton hoists me up easily with its right hand, walking me towards the fresh dirt. It's holding the baseball with its other hand, whitewashed and immaculate. Keeping his smile, Jack points to the baseball with a single flick of the wrist. No! I manage to scream before I'm sucked into the earth and all goes black. I hope he's whistling Sweet Dixie and grinning ear to ear on his way home. He and I both share the common belief. Truly, he did make the right choice. That is a fine baseball.